Hi, I'm Jami Philbrick for iamROGUE.com. I'm here in San Diego at Comic-Con International 2014, and I had an opportunity to speak to some of the cast and crew from the new animated film, Batman: Assault on Arkham. Here's what they had to say about the new movie. With all the different DC source material you can choose from, what interested you about going in and exploring the video game world?
Well, initially we were told we were, do an Arkham movie. We thought we were going to do our own Arkham movie. And it wasn't until a little later in the process that we were told, oh no, this is in connection with the video games, which created a whole other challenge. Challenge
in what sense?
Well, I'm not a gamer, so I had to quickly bone up on the Arkham universe. I talked to a lot of people. Luckily, the director, Jay Oliva, is a gamer. He knew all about the games. I watched all the cutscenes to get a sense of story, how they told their story within the Batman universe, how the video game tells their story versus how we would tell a story. So it was very enlightening. So yeah, we did our homework. The home video people, not home video, the video game people helped us out with a lot of reference. So we took a lot of visual cues from the game. We tried to make it, since we're not doing it in CGI, we still tried to give you a sense of that world with the color palette, the designs, vocal performances, that kind of thing.
Obviously, you're dealing with the Arkham video game franchise, but this is also sort of a Suicide Squad film. So tell me about playing with those two elements and combining them together.
Well, it's super fun because if you've played Arkham Origin, they hinted at the Suicide Squad. And so to be able to go, okay, well, what would the Suicide Squad look like in the Arkham universe? And I got to pull from the Ostrander original series. I pulled from Adam Glass's recent New 52 Suicide Squad, and I sort of smushed all that stuff together and said, what would that look like in the New 52 now, or in the Arkhamverse? So it's pretty cool.
Was this also a fun chance to get to do a Suicide Squad movie on top of exploring the video game world?
Oh yeah, that was the draw for me, because the idea of just doing, when we were told we had to do it in connection with the video game, I was a little worried. Because 2D versus CGI, but when we realized we could do a Suicide Squad movie, it was like, oh wow, this is an opportunity we haven't had for one of these movies, and it's a perfect setting. So having the Suicide Squad in Arkham, that's great. So then I was really jazzed, and then the challenge was fun. It became fun to make it work.
Who did you want to play with the Suicide Squad? Can you talk about who is the Suicide Squad and who you chose?
The Suicide Squad is Deadshot, it's Harley Quinn, it's Captain Boomerang, with the three that I knew I had to have. Also, it's King Shark, it's Black Spider, it's the KG Beast, and Killer Frost.
Oh, wow, so you got to put a bunch of them in there.
And then, for good measure, I threw in the Riddler and the Penguin and the Joker, because I was like, I want to play with these characters. So that was incredibly fun. So I was like, oh, it's an Arkham, right? So I get to write the Riddler, and I can write the Penguin, and I can write the Joker. And they're like, if you can figure out a way to work them in, work them in. So I did.
Man, there's no supervillain's headspace I would rather be in than the Riddler. It's been my lifelong dream to play a supervillain, and fortunately this came along, and it was so much fun. He's such a neurotically insane son of a gun that it was an absolute pleasure.
So tell me a little bit about the idea as an actor of getting in the head of playing an iconic character like the Joker.
Oh man, well for me, I'm a little bit weird because I've watched and grown up with this franchise. I mean, like the first comic book that I ever bought was like a Batman origin story. It was like this big, so I was like 7 years old. So 7 years old and reading Batman comic books that'll get you ready. And so now here we are, like 30 years later after I first watched Batman the Animated Series, and I'm playing a character that I was so drawn to, and I think most people are. He's an incredibly compelling character. Forget the medium, whether it's comic books or cartoons or whatever, it's just a compelling character. And we did it with Arkham Origins, and that was a huge day for me. And if I did it one time, I could die a happy actor. To be able to be asked to come back and do it alongside Kevin Conroy, that's a win.
So you remind me of Sean Connery as James Bond, who said, Because he said he'd never do a James Bond again, and then he returned, and you had said you'd never do Batman, the voice of Batman again, and here you are, back again.
I'm back again. I can't get away from it. No, I love doing this character. It's a great character to be a part of.
What was the choice to return and do this one?
Well, it's, you know, they keep coming up with new story ideas. I think the problem is that you think they may run out of story ideas. And this is a wonderful story idea, to have the Suicide Squad. It's a very dark take on the story. So I love coming back to do this character again. The challenge for me is to keep it fresh, to make it stay alive.
And how do you do that?
That's from being a theater actor for so long. You know, you half the job is creating the role, the other half is doing it 8 times a week. On stage, you have to do the same thing 8 times a week, and every night make it look new. That's just the trick that actors come up with. So for me, it's been applying that over 23 years, you know, to so long. But the thing about the audience for this show is they're so knowledgeable and they're so sophisticated about Batman that if you're dishonest at all, they'll pick up on it in a second. So you've got to really keep it real and be true to the character. The thing about Batman is so interesting, he has such an amazing moral compass. He's so moral. He's so just that you always have to remain true to that compass or the audience will hear it in a second and they'll pick up on it and they won't buy it.
How amazing is it to get Kevin Conroy back in the voice of Batman?
Oh, it's great. I mean, he's, you know, he is Batman. I mean, you know, for this generation, you know, I mean, I just saw Adam West last night, and, you know, for, you know, the inner 6-year-old in me, you know, he's Batman. But as an adult, when I hear Kevin, it's like, oh, wow, that's, you know, so it's gravy for me. I'm like, wow, I have 2 Batmans in my head. So, because I mean, I heard him for years on the Justice League, BTAS. So, no, it's great. It's great. And we, when we were doing ADR on this, we happened to be in New York during the polar vortex. The worst winter day in New York. We had to walk down to a recording studio to record Kevin, and it was worth every frostbitten finger.
Can you say a little bit about what Joker's role is in this film? Is involved with the Suicide Squad at all?
Oh dear, I don't want to spoil the whole thing for you.
Yeah, he's got a great role in this, and I love it. I love that the fact that there's the hit squad is amazing. So just watch, and you'll see.
I don't want to give too much away, but it's funny. He's unique in this film in the sense that he's not really helping anyone but himself. He's definitely a man alone. You may think he's helping Batman at a certain point, but I think you'll come to realize that the Riddler really only works for the Riddler. Yeah, exactly. He's the smartest guy in the room, and he doesn't like collaborating.
With all these villains, how much of a role does Batman have in this? Is Batman in a lot of it? Because
Fortunately, I don't have as much of a role as I wish I had because there are so many villains. But I have to make every line really count.
Can you threaten me again as the Joker?
Oh, I could always threaten you.